What's up, everybody, and welcome to Enjoying the Review. I'm your host, Incomparable Zach Jones, joined as always by the phenomenal Ajay Singh. How you doing tonight, AJ?
Good. Doing all right.
All right, on today's show, we're going to be reviewing Episode 7, the penultimate episode of The Penguin, entitled Top Hat. Before we get into spoilers, AJ, what were your kind of base level thoughts on this episode?
Man, I had my suspicions about who I thought he was. I kind of had an idea. I thought I still thought he was more of a conflicted person before though, and I'm realizing he is not a conflicted person at all. And I I just predict the worst for the people around him. And yeah, he's definitely a bad. Oh, sorry, but he's trouble, man. He's bad. Like in a TV show, it's fun to watch, and we know it's fake. But in real life, a person like this, yeah, no, you'd want him executed. Like this is bad. He'd be in death row.
I will say he does something really bad in this episode, and we'll get into it in spoilers. But I feel they do leave like a sliver of ambiguity to it, which we'll get into. Um, should we just get into it?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I didn't pick up on that. I am very interested to hear what. Okay, I didn't pick up on that, but I've
Okay.
been stoned, so yeah.
So we start with a flashback of Oswald's childhood. We find out he really loves his mom, like we've seen, and he also seems jealous of her affection towards his siblings. Because we see her go over to Jack and Betty, and like we can see on Oswald's face that he doesn't really like. He's definitely jealous. Like he wants to be her number one.
Yeah.
So Oswald's mom gives Jack a book that he's supposed to give Rex Calabrese, the mobster that was referenced in earlier episodes. And so I guess she does like numbers for the mob, is what I gather here. So Oswald and his brothers go outside, and Oswald admires Rex's car. Again, they kind of set this up in an earlier episode. He called it his chariot and all that.
Yeah.
So they find Rex and his men roughing up a shop owner. Jack gives a book to Rex, and Rex gives him money back. And we can see that Oswald clearly admires Rex. I think he's like tries to say hi to him, and Jack's like, no, leave him alone.
Yeah.
And Jack tries to tell Oswald and Benny, that Rex is not a good guy, and that he does not pay their mother enough money. Oswald put it together already. He knows that Rex is a gangster, and he doesn't seem to care. He still, admires him.
Yeah.
So Oswald and his brothers end up playing hide and seek in the underground trolley system that we've seen in the previous episodes. And he gets mad because his brothers kind of hide from him in a place he can't really get to because of, his deformed leg. And so he gets mad at him, and he kind of locks him in this like underground part.
Yeah.
And what I didn't mention is it's starting to rain pretty hard outside.
Mm-hmm.
So Oswald goes home, and he lies to his mom, and he says that his brothers went to the movies. Oswald's mom talks about how she'd like to get out of her apartment and live in a penthouse one day. And Oswald tells her that one day that will happen. So this has been going on like all his life, where he's promising his mom all these, big things. One day it'll
weird
happen.
relationship. Like I always thought she was the one who was driving him, but it turns out he was the one manipulating her the whole time, which is interesting.
Well, and she's not a normal mother either. We'll see towards the tail end of this episode that like she kind of asks things of him that a normal mom wouldn't. So she's also a piece of work.
Yeah.
So Oswald and his mom watch an old movie that features a man dressed in a top hat and tails, and he kind of admires this, old movie, and so I kind of wonder, like, if when he becomes like, the Penguin, and he makes the whole transformation, like, will he start dressing like that in the traditional like comic book
Right.
garb? I kind of wonder if that's how they're seeding that in.
Yeah.
Okay, so as Oswald watches a movie with his mom, it's raining more and more, and his brothers end up drowning in that underground tunnel. So here's where I was going to mention the ambiguity is, did he know for sure his brothers were drowning? Like, he got upset with them, he shut that door on them, and he lied about it and everything. But do you think in his mind he was like, oh yeah, they're drowning right now? Or, like, that's where I say the ambiguity comes in. Like, I don't know if he
No,
for sure murdered them.
no, there was a scene where they showed him his face when it was raining, and he had this moment, like it looked like he realized what was going on, and he almost like it looked like he thought about it, but he was like, whatever, and went back to like, playing whatever with his mom.
Yeah, I remember that scene, but I guess I couldn't quite read it 100%. Like, I didn't really, like, was he like for sure like concerned, and then he was just like, nah, I'm sure they're fine? Or was he like, maybe I should tell her, nope, I'm gonna let them die? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I couldn't quite read
I kind of
what.
got that impression. Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah,
that's why I said maybe there was a little bit ambiguity there. Like, maybe he didn't know for sure his brothers would die if he didn't say anything. But
right.
yeah. So back in the present day, Oswald goes up to his apartment in Crown Heights, and he
Well,
notices.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
go
I
ahead.
just wanted to add. I do wish, and I know what they're trying to establish here with Oswald's history and what kind of person he is at this point. Um, I do wish they had shown more of the relationship he had with his brothers, though, to see how cold blooded this really was. Like, were they ever bullies to him? It didn't look like it, but like just a little like above their history to add more impact to this death. Like, we get it; it is his brothers. They are his brothers. We're not super emotionally invested in them, in their relationship altogether and stuff like that. We don't not see this coming yet. You have to make us feel like we do with Vic. Like make us not see it coming.
Yeah, I didn't get the sense that his brothers were like bullies to him, but I did
Yeah,
get the sense that he's jealous both of his mom's affection towards them and the fact that they get to do all these things that he can't because of his leg.
yeah, yeah. He's the run to the litter.
Yeah, he definitely. I think there's a lot of jealousy on his part. But yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
get the sense. Like, I got the sense that Jack like cared about him and like wouldn't bully him necessarily. You know what I mean? Like,
I got that
he's
impression too, but I just feel like just for the audience to be emotionally invested, I feel like I would have been more emotionally invested if I had seen just a little bit more of the history between them. Like even just memories, like
right.
different clips of their relationships, just different times throughout their lives, and then one day he's just like coldly, just without a whim, can just walk away from them and be like, go ahead and die, I don't care.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you might be right. It might have been better to set that up a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Um so yeah, back in the present day, he notices that like there was forced entry into his apartment. So he goes in there and he finds Victor knocked out. And when he wakes him up, Victor tells him that Sophia took his mother. So Oswald hears Maroni's men approaching the building, so he tells Vic to leave through the window, and he also tells him to contact the other gang leaders and like, form an army to help him and tell them what's going on. So Oswald surrenders to Maroni, but Maroni, even though he's surrendering, beats the crap out of him with a golf club because he hates him for killing his family. Um, but the other men who work for Sophia, stop him from killing Oswald because it's like, that's not what Sophia ordered.
Yeah.
Um, so Maroni calls Sophia, and Oswald begs her not to kill his mother. Maroni wants to kill him, but Sophia, promises Maroni that, hey, we're gonna kill him soon. Don't worry. So Maroni tells Oswald to take him to his drug operation, And Oswald says he won't do anything until he speaks to his mother. And I forget what Maroney told him there, but Maroney basically told him, like, you're going to do what I say, you know. So Sophia brings Oswald's mom breakfast. She tells her about how Oswald told her that she was dead and that she actually felt sorry for him. And Oswald's mom says that some people are easy marks. By the way, I really like this conversation between the two of them because they both have like attitude, you know. And I just thought their back and forth was pretty entertaining. Yeah. She asked Sophia if she brought her out here to feed her toast or if she's going to kill her. And Sophia says that depends on Oswald. She says that if Oswald leads them to the drugs, then there's at least options. So Oswald's mom tells her that Oswald will roast Maroney like he did his wife and son, and then he will come for Sophia. That line surprised me a little bit, just in that, like, Oswald must have actually told her exactly how he killed.
Right, yeah.
Which is kind of dark. You would think he would just say, like, oh, yeah. Like, at most, you would think he maybe told her that, yeah, I killed the wife and son, but not in the way he did it, you know?
Yeah.
Sophia implies that Oswald's mom is the one that shaped him into a monster. She says that when Oswald shoots her dead, she will be tap dancing on, she will be tap dancing on her grave. Sophia tells her it's a good thing her other boys died before she could turn them into monsters as well, which really, you know, angers her. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, whatever actress they got to play the younger version of Oswald's
Bro,
mom.
I gotta pause. I gotta use the restroom really badly.
Okay, yeah, go for it. I'll keep going. Yeah,
okay.
Go. So yeah, I was just saying, like, the actress, whoever they got to play Oswald's mom, younger self, she was great. Like, she looked like her. Her mannerisms were much like her. Very, very good. So Oswald's mom has an episode, Alzheimer's type episode once again, where she's kind of remembering the night her boys didn't come home from the rain. And Sophia tries to comfort her, and she ends up just slapping her. By the way, again, I like how Sophia's character has depth here. She's not, you know, always just being a monster. We see, and we'll see again later on in this episode, she does have empathy for others. So now her doctor comes in, Julian, and he tells Sophia that Gia, her cousin, I guess cousin's daughter, I believe, second cousin, is looking to talk to the police. Apparently, the facility she was put into, he knows somebody that works there, and so he knows that she's trying to contact the police. Julian volunteers to talk to Gia, but Sophia says she will talk to her, but could use Julian's help with something else, and has him talk with Oswald's mom. I get the sense that Julian almost would get a kick out of, like, intimidating Gia, you know, a little girl here. Like, his dialogue and his mannerisms here definitely make me get the sense that, like, he would get, like, some sort of perverse pleasure in doing so. All right, so Oswald leads Maroney and his men to the drug operation, and in the process, a couple of Oswald's men get killed. Maroney tells everybody that Oswald is no longer in charge, and he says that they now work for the Gigante and the Maroney families. So, Oswald, you know, being the silver-tongued guy he is, tries to drive a wedge between Maroney and Sophia, basically asking him, you know, after all these years between the Maroneys and the Falcones, like, why, you know, share with her, you know? Maroney tells Oswald that after they pack up the drugs, he's going to take him to Sophia's house and kill him. Oswald angers Maroney into trying to kill him by talking about how his wife died. But when Maroni goes to kill him, once again, Sophia's men try to prevent him from doing so, because it's Sophia's orders not to kill him yet. So this big scuffle happens, where Oswald's men and Maroni's men start fighting each other in the dark because Oswald, has one of his men cut the power. In the ensuing chaos, Maroni and Oswald pair off and they get in a fight. And Maroni really, gets the upper hand and beats him for the majority of the fight. But ends up in the middle of the whole thing having a heart attack and dying. So Oswald shoots his dead body a bunch of times and tells him he beat him. So I'm guessing, he's not going to tell anybody that Maroni actually died of a heart attack. He wants them to believe that, he was physically dominant and, actually ended up, beating him down and shooting him. So he then takes the ring off of Maroni's hand and puts it on his pinky finger, much like Alberto Falcone did in the first episode. So Oswald tells his men that he's grateful for them, but he's going to need their help because there's a storm a-coming. So now we go back over to Sophia. So Sophia goes to visit Gia in this institute she now lives in. And as she's in there, it kind of reminds her of Arkham. She gets a flashback to Arkham. So Gia tells Sophia that she saw the gas mask in her bag that the night of the gassing and asks her if she killed her parents. Sophia lies to her and tells her that it was just an accident. She asks Gia if she understands, and Gia nods her head yes. Sophia also notices that Gia has been cutting herself, harming herself. So Sophia holds Gia and tells her that her parents and the rest of the family were bad people and that she is glad that they're gone. She tells her not to hurt herself because of them. And she tells her she's going to get out of this place and get a new family. So Sophia leaves her room and breaks down in tears. And so this is what I was referencing earlier as well. We do see, again, that Sophia is not all bad. She definitely has empathy, and she sees a lot of herself in Gia, in this kid. So soon after, she gets a call from Oswald, who informs her that Maroni is dead. And he tells her that he will give Sophia the whole operation in exchange for his mother. So Sophia tells Julian what happened and that she agreed to Oswald's proposal. Julian says this is a trap, and Sophia says she knows that, but it doesn't matter. Julian asks what Gia said to her and asks if Gia is going to be a problem. So again, like I mentioned, they're definitely pushing this guy is sinister and would probably have no problem killing a kid or intimidating a kid. He keeps kind of offering to take care of the Gia problem. So Sophia tells him that she walked right out of one institution and into another, meaning her family. She says that Oswald's mom was right and that she's still playing her father's game and abiding by his rules. So Julian tells her it doesn't matter what her father wanted and asks what she wants and she says she wants to be free. She says she also wants Oswald to feel pain like the kind that she has felt. She says that she needs him to suffer for what he's done. Oswald tells his men to stay out of sight until he gives the word. This is in the underground. He has all his men ready, has them hiding, waiting to spring the trap. So a car drives into the underground tunnel and stops. And so he thinks this is Sophia. And then Sophia calls Oswald. She tells him that she's been trying on a bunch of different faces, but none of them seemed right. All of a sudden, the driver of the car gets out and runs away. By the way, I kind of wonder what happened to this guy, because Oswald mentions that, like, basically the gates were shut behind the car. So it seems like this guy is a sacrificial lamb, because even though he ran away, like, I'm thinking he probably didn't outrun what's coming. So Oswald asks her what's going on. She says that Oswald thinks they want the same thing, but she might have learned something in Arkham, which is how to play a new game. So it's revealed that Sophia was never in the car in the tunnel, and she gets out of a vehicle above ground. She tells Oswald that she left him a present. So Oswald looks in the back of the car, and they kind of tease here that it might be his dead mother. They definitely lead us to believe that, but he pulls the blanket over, and he finds a bomb in the back of the car. A time bomb. It's countdown. It's almost going to go off. And they reveal at the same time that Sophia has his mother above ground as well. So Oswald saves himself from the explosion by hiding in the same chamber where his brothers drown. So we flash back to Oswald as a child. And this is basically that story he told in an earlier episode where he said, after his brothers died, his mom was basically like bedridden for like a month. And then one day out of the blue, she came out of her room dressed all fancy and asked him to go dancing with her. So they go to this club and they're dancing. And Oswald's mom makes him promise that he'll make her happy and give her everything she deserves. So this is also what I was kind of referencing earlier, where she's kind of a piece of work as well. They kind of have this, I don't know if you call it a codependent relationship, but he's way too obsessed with her approval, and she asks of him more than she should from a mother-son relationship. But he agrees to this. He wants to make her happy. So Oswald pulls himself out of the underground, and he is captured by the corrupt cop that Sophia hired in an earlier episode to do some work for her. I don't know if they ever gave that character a name. I can't quite recall. But at any rate, that is how this episode ends. So you figure going into the last episode, the big thing is the confrontation between Oswald and Sophia. Very interesting how that will shake out. I don't know if I have any real predictions other than, so I'm sure they'll have an interesting conversation But when it comes down to it, I think that Victor is going to show up with an army of the other gang leaders. This will probably inevitably lead to a confrontation where I'm going to guess Oswald convinces the other gang members to fight Sophia, and he ends up on top as, you know, the kingpin of crime. Now, I do think, okay, I'm going to predict that his mother does die. And I'm also going to predict that something bad happens to Victor. I'm going to say that Victor lives, but either he will end up going to jail, or will kind of get the idea that he has maybe turned too far to the dark side. Like maybe he's becoming, you know, another Oswald. So that, you know, that because again, I don't think things are going to work out well for him. I just don't know which way they're going to go with it. But I think it'll be one of those two things. Like either he ends up in prison or going to jail, or he's gone too far the other way. He's lost his humanity, and now he's truly, you know, another underling of the Penguin. And it looks like AJ never came back. But yeah, I'm curious what everybody else out there thinks and is looking forward to. Any predictions for the final episode? But guys, I thank you very much for following along. If you will, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, you can subscribe in audio form on your podcast catcher of choice. You can leave us thumbs up, positive reviews, all that good stuff. You can follow me on Twitter /X at Zach Jones Live. That's ZachJonesLive. But that'll do it for all of our review this evening. Sorry, I got distracted there. Until next time, guys, we hope you're enjoying the review. Bye, guys.